Hi, Carson. This is Coach Harmon from Gonzaga University Baseball. Want to take the opportunity to thank you for attending our pitchers and catchers camp a couple weeks ago. Hopefully it was a beneficial 3 days for you. Just in terms of not only getting better for the 3 days that you were there, I feel confident with everybody that just putting in that amount of time and focus that you're going to make some strides. But more importantly, hopefully grasping some ideas and concepts of how to train and get better on your own, some things to focus on to maximize, like I said, your training time that you're spending. I know you're a dedicated athlete in terms of wanting to get better. And on that same note, okay, finding some ways to maybe understand your delivery even more. That's kind of what this video eval is about, is to go over your video, see how your mechanics work. Maybe we find one or two things that I personally would say, hey, I want to make a slight adjustment on this, and then it's up to you to apply some of those things to some of the drills and whatnot that you've learned, not only at our camp but over your years. And like I said, you have a good delivery. By no means are we going to be reinventing the wheel with a guy like you. So just more of a chance to kind of have a little open dialogue about your delivery. First thing is going to be a front angle shot here. Okay. The big things I'm going to look for now, we'll look from the side angle on some timing and some hip direction. But for here, two main things I'm looking at, okay, is the direction of our lower half, our stride. Okay, making sure that you're doing, directionally what you want to do. Some guys come across their body a little bit, and if they're doing it on purpose, I'm okay with that. It's the guys that feel like they're on line and all of a sudden they realize they're 6 inches closed or 6 inches open, and we need to address that. So the other big thing I'm going to be looking at for you here is I'm going to see the role of what your front side's doing. So when we're looking at that, okay, we're going to be seeing if our top half's giving us a chance to use our lower half, or if it's pulling us out of the way, and we'll make that decision off of this delivery here. So I'd say your lower half is about directly on. Okay. Now the one thing I would see here, you're kind of a guy, and I remember from camp too, of that lead arm. Okay, it's kind of an early rotation, and really, I don't want to use the term violent, but it's playing a role of bringing your throwing arm through. Okay. Ideally, I'd want to be in a position right here. Okay, that see this big arch we have in our back where we're kind of pulling ourselves back, and this lead glove is kind of pulling me open. Okay, we're getting great hip action. Okay, you have a really good rotational, flexible hips. Okay, ideally for me, I'd want to still be I'd still want to be a little bit more closed off with this top half. That's going to help create that that disassociation between my top half and lower half, and really allow me to create some torque and inevitably create some whip with my arm as that lower half fires and my top half follows sequentially right behind it. Okay, but you'll notice that they kind of work together here, where that front arm clears out, back arm follows it. And like I said, you're a little bit of an all-arm thrower, and you have a really good arm action. Okay, a good fast arm. I think though we could maybe clean up that top half just a little bit with that front side, and it's going to allow us to get more out of what our core and lower half are doing. Okay, we're just going to need to stay a little bit strong with that top half. Okay, work on keeping that core strong. That position right there, if I could be right there, okay, in that posture at land, okay, it's going to give us a chance to really maximize our body a little bit more. Okay, good finish. I like how you're at release. We get good pronation with our hand. Good idea of getting over that front leg. It's acting as a brake. Good things are happening there. So let's take a peek from the side angle here. Fast forward. Okay, now big thing here. Okay, now we're out of the stretch. Okay. Now, if you remember from camp, I was asking, hey, I want you to go through your delivery of, assuming their best runner is at first base, okay? And, basically, we got to be in a spot where we can be quick to the plate. We ask of our guys, and this isn't individual to us. I don't know any college program that really doesn't demand their guys to be somewhere in that 1.35 break time or less, okay? giving your catcher a chance so you can control the running game. So we're going to take a look at that. The other thing here is from the side angle, I'm going to see how our hands work with our legs and if we're getting good hip action towards the plate. Looking right here, okay, things I would look at, and let's kind of just back this up and think how we'd look at this out of the windup. Okay, windup, we're almost doing the exact same thing. We just get to take, we take our jab step, obviously, and we get to take a little higher kick. But the big thing I'm looking for is when this leg reaches its peak, am I stacked up on that back side? Okay, so I can know when to get my hands separated on time. Okay, now watching you here as we're lifting, you notice how your hips are starting to already engage forward. Okay, that's okay if that's what you do every single time. Okay, if you're a guy that's trying to get to your peak and then get your hips firing, you can see you're a little bit drifty on this delivery. If you're purposely, as your legs coming up, starting to engage that lead hip, okay, I'm good with that, because the idea for me is that I'm doing the same motion over and over again. That's how I'm going to know when to get the timing and separation of my hands to match up with what my lower half's doing. If I'm doing something different with my body every time, you're playing a guessing game of when to separate. But if I'm consistently able to do that action, okay, now you're going to be able to train yourself of when to get separated. And how are you going to know you're on time? Simply, are you consistently getting to the same release point? Are you throwing the ball where you want to? Okay, I know that sounds really simple, okay, but I'm not going to tell a guy he's not on time with his arm, okay, if he's throwing the ball where he wants to. If you're consistently missing, for a lot of guys, if they're late with their hands, inconsistent, they're going to miss high, they're going to miss arm side, or they're going to really feel themselves pulling that front side to catch their arm up and kind of feel their arm drag through, okay? That's up for you to kind of self-identify and understand that if I'm late and I'm missing arm side, that, hey, I'm probably late. I need to figure out the timing. That timing happens up here over the rubber. It does not happen down here at release, okay? So just knowing that, okay, we're going to watch our hands work with their lower half. Next thing I'm going to be conscious of, okay, lead hips in the lead here. I want to keep this lead shoulder behind my lead hip as long as I can until I get to my landing position here. So as I'm driving through, okay, we're maintaining that posture. The next thing I'm going to look at, okay, and just like we were from the front angle, how long can I keep this top half, okay, directional, and ideally we get to land. You can look at still shots of a lot of big leaguers, okay. I'd say the majority of them, they get to that land position, their top half is still locked on, and that allows that lower half to really fire, and it creates that, like I said, creates that whip and torque that we're really looking for. Okay. Now you can see we're at land here, a little bit better out of the stretch than we were in the windup. Windup, you might have been a little rushed. Who knows what it was, but you can see the roll of your front half really wants to start kind of, I use the term tucking or pulling to bring your arm through. Okay, I like to use the term with our guys. I want our front side to simply, it's not going to just stay stiff and rigid out there, but I'm going to use the term that front side's going to fold instead of tuck. See how you're tucking it to clear our chest for our arm to come through? I want our arm to be what drives my chest into my glove, if that makes sense. Okay, but pretty good delivery right here, Carson. You're doing a lot of good things. So I think the big thing for you is understanding that timing, getting back to that slide step or being quick to the plate. You're probably right borderline with the height of your leg kick. You just have to be on the watch and say, hey, am I quick enough right here to give my catcher a chance consistently and still feel like I'm getting everything on the baseball that I can. Okay, that's something you're going to have to be able to do next year at the college level. But overall, like I said, good finish. Get a good firm front leg. Okay, doing a lot of good things in your delivery. I think the next thing for you, Carson, just to simply keep getting really good at being you. There's always little tweaks, but own your mechanics and see how consistent you can get with them, and that's going to really help you take that next jump to, a little bit of velo jump, but also just to keep enhancing our breaking ball, our changeup, and getting everything out of that same slot. So I look forward to watching your progress this spring. I'd appreciate if you could keep me in the loop, stay in contact with the schedule, and hopefully I'm going to get a chance to work with you again here soon. But please stay in contact. Have a great off season, and we'll talk to you soon. Go Zags.